Hey guys, Tiny Maths here with another lesson. Today we're going to do a short lesson that's divided into two parts. The first part of our lesson, we're going to show how the sum of external angles on a polygon always add up to 360 degrees, no matter what the polygon. So all of the external angles added up together must always add to 360 degrees. Then after we've shown that, in the second part of our lesson, we're going to look at an external angle question, which, knowing that all of the external angles add up to 360 degrees, this will help us solve problems involving both external and internal angles of polygons. So let's move on to the first part of our lesson. Okay guys, I want you to take a look at this quadrilateral. We're going to show how we know that the sum of all external angles is of any polygon is always 360 degrees. I want you to visualize things a little bit. Now imagine that you are standing here and you're facing the direction of W. This is just the direction that these lines are pointing, the edges of the quadrilateral. Now if you're pointing in the W direction, then you decided to turn around this way and face that direction, that means you've turned at the angle of A. If you turn this way, this is the angle you've made by turning. You're facing that way, then you turn this way, you've made the angle. So when you're facing X, you've turned as much as A. By turning the angle A, it makes you face X. Now what happens if you decided to turn to face the angle Y, to face the direction Y? You've turned to face the direction X, and that took you the whole of the angle A to do so. If you wanted to face the direction Y now, you'd have to turn around again the angle C. So really, by turning the angle A plus C, you'll be facing the direction of Y. See, you're facing the direction of W, you turn the angle A, that makes you face the direction X, and on top of that you turn the angle C, that makes you face the direction Y. What if you wanted to face the direction Z? Again, you'd have to turn the angle D. You'd have to turn that much of an angle in order to face Z. Then, if you wanted to go all the way around to face this direction, which is the direction W, you'd have to turn this angle B. You're facing Z, now you want to turn to the angle W, you'd have to also turn the angle B on top of D, C and A. And what would happen then? You would be facing exactly the same position that you were facing at the beginning. In other words, you've turned a full circle. That means that A plus B plus C plus D, I know I've done them in a funny order, but it's the same thing, must equal a full circle. The angles added up together must equal a full circle, because you've turned from W facing that way, you turn this way, then you turn this way, then you turn that way, then you turn that way. A plus C plus B plus D are a full circle, which equals 360 degrees, and that applies for any and all polygons. So now we've established that the external angles in any polygon is 360 degrees, we can now start to do some experiments. We can now try to answer some questions. So here you can see we have two problems. We have X, two angles that we don't know, X and Y. Let's try to work out the angle X and Y. So we know that 360 degrees is the sum of all the external angles. So that must be equal to 114 plus 58, that's that angle, plus 67, which is that angle, plus 73, which is this angle, plus x, not y, because y is an internal angle. X is the external angle. So 360 degrees must equal all of these. 114 plus 58 plus 67 plus 73 plus x. We can then work out what the angle x is. And I've seemed to have misplaced my calculator, so I need to find that. Where are we now? Seems to have disappeared. Sorry guys. Okay, here we go. How we would find out this is by subtracting this whole lot from 360. That will give us x. So let's do that. First of all, let's find out what all those four numbers, those four angles add up to. So that's 114 plus 58 plus 67 plus 73 equals 312. So we can rewrite this as 360 degrees equals 312 degrees plus x. And by now it should be very easy for you to work out how we find out what x is. All we need to do is 360 degrees minus 312, and that should equal our angle x. Oops. So just before we calculate that, let's think about what we've done again. We know that all of the external angles of any polygon add up to 360 degrees. So 114 plus 58 plus 67 plus 73 plus x must equal 360 degrees, which is what we've written here. 360 degrees equals all these angles that we have plus x, which we don't have. These are the external angles. The sum of these add up to 312 degrees. So if we take 312, so the sum we have now, we can reduce it to 360 equals 312 plus x. If we want x, we take away 312 from 360. Let's do that. And that equals 48. So 48 degrees equals x. X equals 48 degrees. Now we have x, we can work out what y is. How can we do that? Simply by remembering that since this is a straight line here, the angles, the sum of all angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. We found out that x equals 48 degrees. So it must be, since these two angles on this straight line add up to 180 degrees, we could write 48 degrees plus y equals 180 degrees. So that puts us in a position to find out what the value of y is, because all we have to do then is subtract 48 from 180. so that 180 degrees minus 48 degrees will give us what y is. So let's do that. 180 minus 48 equals 132 degrees. That means y equals 132 degrees. And there you are. X equals 48 degrees and y equals 132 degrees. That's how easy it is to find out external angles and then use them to find internal angles of any polygon.